Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all had an excellent Easter, and if you don't celebrate Easter, I hope you had a great holiday and got some delicious chocolate. Today, I will be reading What Will My Future Self Think of Me by Mark Kingwell, which originally appeared in the April 28, 2007 Globe and Mail as part of Mark Kingwell's column, The Identity Continuum. Wikipedia says that Mark Kingwell is a Canadian professor of philosophy and associate chair at the University of Toronto's Department of Philosophy. Kingwell is a fellow of Trinity College as well. He specializes in theories of politics and culture. So, without further ado, here is What Will My Future Self Think of Me by Mark Kingwell. Enjoy! Suppose you could communicate with yourself in the future, say 20 years from now. What would you do? Remember, this would be a different version of yourself, someone who, while still connected to you, has only hazy memories of your current state of mind. So you may welcome the opportunity to remind the person you're about to become of how something came to be, or how you feel about something, or what you dream of doing someday. Or you may just want to apologize over and over for all the dumb things you've done. If this appeals, you're far from alone. 5 years ago, Matt Sly and Jay Patricos, two web entrepreneurs based in California, created Future Me, a website with an archive of emails people have written to their future selves. FutureMe.org is based, the site says, on the principle that memories are less accurate than emails. The emails will be delivered at a time up to 20 years later, picked up by the user. Almost 400,000 letters from around the world have been received since the site went up in 2002. A book of the 200 best letters, titled Dear Future Me, was published in 2007. The site is especially popular, site founders say, with U.S. troops stationed in Iraq, who seem to derive comfort from sending a secure message from an insecure location. What is the draw? It's not as though a Future Me message has any critical purchase on decision. This is not foresight as in the film Next, based on a Philip K. Dick story about a man cursed with knowledge of future events. Your future you may be interested to receive a message, but it will not help him or her avoid his or her own mistakes about which Future Me messages might well be sent. We might think the more desirable thing would be a past me message. Don't take that job. Don't sleep with that guy. Do stop and smell the roses. For God's sake, buy life insurance. So far, that's not possible, even on the web. Not that most past me's would listen anyway. Technology aside, Future Me is just an instance of the ancient genius of writing. A grocery list is a Future Me message, after all, to the me who might forget between home and the store whether we need milk. So is a book arguing something now, so it won't be forgotten later. Setting something down, whether on paper or on a hard drive, holds them over from one iteration of self to another. In the most extreme case, recall the movie Memento, we might have to use our own bodies as a notepad against lost memory. The tattoo as post-it for Future Me. All writing, and especially the first-person sort, floats between presence and absence. I sign a letter to signify that I am present at its conception, endorsing it, but I have to sign the letter in the first place precisely because I will not be present when it is read. Even if it is read by a future version of myself, that future self needs to feel accountable to the past self who set down his name in the name of the future we are now, the signature as promissory note. Whether all these selves are the same person is another matter. In one sense, clearly not. If present me and future me were literally the same, there would be no need for letters or even notes. I would never not know whether we need milk, and I wouldn't need or want to hear from past versions of me about what it or they were thinking and feeling. We know our past, present, and future selves are different because of familiar gaps between them, in both mind and body. I despise past me or resent him or find him mildly amusing, if stupid. I envy his energy and smooth skin, his unbroken limbs. I wonder what the hell he thought he was thinking doing what he did. Receiving or sending a letter between two selves raises the awkward question of what responsibility, if any, we owe our past. In the law and in ethics, we maintain a fiction of stable and personal identity across time so that we can attach actions to persons. You did this, hence you are responsible for it. But any action is immediately a past action, and so the responsibility of a past self rather than the present one. And so the responsibility of a past self rather than a present one. Statutes of limitations and criminal rehabilitation theory nod in the direction of complexity here. If enough time passes, or if your present self is sufficiently different from your past one, you may be let off the hook. But in general, law does not allow escape from past self actions. In metaphysics, as well as ordinary life, we know things are more slippery. Consider a promise such as a marriage vow. I make it with full sincerity and the best knowledge of which I am capable. I even make it with the sure conviction that it is forever. Yet things change, people change. The promise gets broken, not by the person who made it, who sincerely wanted a career and no children, but by that other person who finds parenthood appealing after all. Who is responsible? Confronting a past self is like waking up with a hangover, a residue of effect suffered by one self because of the deeds of another. The implications of past actions and choices, some of which we might barely remember, burden us all the time. Why do we go along with it? Is there no rehab program for personhood? No. But writing to future you is a poignant, maybe desperate assertion of personal continuity over time. Its attempt at forward revision seeks connection among the dots of consciousness, a coherent narrative. More deeply, such a message implicitly accepts a duty to future generations. Future selves can't speak for themselves against what G.K. Chesterton called the small and arrogant oligopoly of those who merely happen to be walking about. Future me may reject present me's choices, but my messages to him is, in its way, an attempt to acknowledge responsibility rather than evade it. For better or for worse, present me is the sole go-between linking all past me's with all future ones. Let's hope he knows what he's doing. So, what do you guys think? Personally, as someone who has been diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety, I will literally stay awake for hours at night thinking about the past. Sometimes when I'm working on assignments, I think about how quick my brain used to be, how easily I used to pick things up, how much better I could even spell things, and it affects me. I think to myself, well, maybe if I could have told my future self, don't smoke so much damn weed, girl, and your brain will be better. I also think about cancel culture and how the younger generation of people, and even the older generation right now, as we see from resurfacing tweets really getting people canceled, I think, will they be able to make mistakes? The anxiety that I feel is probably doubled in someone who is younger than me, thinking that they can't make mistakes or else they might never have a job when they are older. I believe in education over punishment. You can't become a better person if you don't learn. So we need our past selves. No matter how much we may regret doing something, we needed to do whatever it is that we did. Like Mark says, present self is the only thing that connects past and future self. So when living in that moment, really try to ground ourselves. Think about the decisions that we're making a bit longer, what we're saying online, what we're saying in conversation, etc. I hope I've given you something to think about, and I hope that you've liked this article. That's it for today, everyone. Take care and have a great week. I love you. God loves you. Bye-bye.